Alright, so welcome everyone. This particular video is going to be about a fiber optic outage repair I took part in. And let's go. So immediately when I walk up, immediately when I'm on site, the first thing I do is I survey the area, right? I walk it out. Let's see just how bad it is, because these guys just tore my lines out of the ground and I got to fix it. So obviously the first thing I do is I see how bad they tore me up and see if there's any fiber sticking at the ends, right? There could be some stuck in the jacket. Obviously I look at the fiber, make sure it's my own, and then I get started. I pull it into my trailer and here we go. So it's a 288 count fiber. That means it has 288 fibers inside. And it's just been ripped in half by a construction crew, right? It is central tube with double ribbons. It's an older fiber and it's full of gunk, gel. So we're going to open this thing up, repair it, splice it into a case, and bring these people back online. Let's begin. All right, so you want to be at least mildly cautious when working with this stuff. Okay, so the first thing we do is we try to expose 6 inches off the tip of the fiber, right, off of the tail end. We're trying to get at the ripcord that's inside. It's going to help us separate the jacket from the rest of the fibers, right? The thicker the fiber it is, the more difficult it is to get access to it, right? There's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta stay in shape and stay focused, right? That's why you want to splice inside of a trailer and not on the side of the road. Okay, so typically what we see here is, we've exposed just a bit of it, but what we see at the tip end here is we see, it's basically what we see is the strength members. They give strength to the fiber, gives it its rigidity, right? And we also see the gel as well as the ribbons, right? We see the ribbons and we see the gel. We also see that it is a central tube fiber, that there's just one central tube going down this whole thing. Now, when it comes to tools, surely there's precision tools that are sold by multiple manufacturers here. But in this particular video, I'm just going to work with the bare minimum so that, new guys in the biz, they can actually get started. And this particular job, I just used my trusty knife, some electrical tape, some decent gloves, rubber gloves, okay? And I try to keep my work environment very clean, right? The cleaner your environment, the more organized your fabrications will be, the more precise your crafting is, okay? Always remember that, man. A clean house is a good house, okay? So here I am trying again, all right? There's gel everywhere. It's coming out the ends as well as the sides, man. So, it's nothing to be discouraged about. I mean, that's just the way these things are. Just keep on pulling, man. And here we can see what we're looking for. You see the orange right there? The orange, and then the 2 strength members. That orange is the ripcord that we're trying to expose, right? Because once we rip it, it's going to rip all the way along the end, right? And it's going to separate the jacket from the central tube. All right, that's what we're looking for. Here we can see the ripcord is slightly exposed, right? Okay, so pulling the ribbon. Oh, there you go. So pulling this jacket off is extremely difficult because there's gel on the inside of it. And as we pull, it's all coming out the side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to bend the tip here and pull the ribbon out that way. So, well, pull the ripcord out that way, I should say. And there we go. Okay. Yep. So we put the trusty gloves back on. All right. That gel sticks to pretty much everything. It's not too and it's difficult to clean up if you don't know how to clean it. So right here, I just go ahead and I try to cut. I use my trusty snips and I try to notch just along the jacket here, a starting point to rip this cord. If we don't take this precaution, this skinny little nylon ribbon here, it'll just rip right in half. The jacket's pretty thick. Okay. Yeah. This is me trying. And this is me succeeding shortly. These strength members also, they're nylon, well, yeah, they're fiberglass cords, right? Very sharp. Using my knife, I'm able to get out the other rip cord, and now I'm good to go, right? I'm good to go at this point. I'm just going to rip it right along the seam here. Rips pretty nice. Yeah. Now do the other side. Trying to pry it off your hands is going to be pretty difficult. This is an old fiber. So I use my snips to try to separate it from the central tube. And biff, bam, kaboom, here we are. It's coming off nice and nice. Well, nice and neat, right? Yeah. And here we are. We can see the 2 strength members. There's a total of 4 strength members in this particular fiber. The other 2, they're actually beneath the other jacket, right? And what we see here is the central tube right here. Okay, so now that we have the top part of the jacket removed, we can see the insides of the fiber itself, right? So we have these 2 strength members, and we have a central tube, okay? And there's the jacket. Now, this is a look inside of the central tube, okay? What we see here is a big black hand. No, what we see here is the fiber ribbons. Yeah, what we see here is the fiber ribbons. And up towards here, what we see is the gel, right? So what's important about the gel? The gel acts as not only a lubricant, but a, what do you call those things? Like stop leak for your fiber, right? Patches up the holes. Patches up the holes, lubricates it, and reduces moisture inside of the fiber. So that's what it does. And these here are double ribbons. Now we're gonna separate them for let's try to separate one. Not gonna use D-gel just yet, but hold on. All right, well, you can see, well, I guess it's difficult to see. Let me separate this right quick. So here we have it, just all laid out. Yeah, when you're working in a trailer, there you go. This is it. Pull this thing closer to here. Aha! So now we're gonna access the fiber. Here it goes. With the central tube, accessing the tube isn't really a problem. You just gotta know how deep to cut. Even if you use scoring tools to get at it, doesn't take much to screw the pooch, as it were. But all you need to do is just a slight incision. It's just a slight incision. Oh, there it is. Right there. Did it with my trusty knife. And so a slight incision. Yeah. So here we go. All you need to do is just a slight bend. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And then we just separate. There we go. Not a single fiber broken. All right. Yeah, so, yeah, there we go. And if we look at the fiber again, we can see it, all that gel is still on there, okay? All that gel. And we don't want that. Craps up the splicer. So what we're gonna use is this. It's D-gel. D-gel, okay? Alright. These small little wipes, these small little wipes have a solvent on it, and it's just gonna wipe away the gel, leave it squeaky clean. Okay, well, might need a few of them. Well, there we go. And that's just off one pass, okay? Shout out to MTR. This would be the viscous innards of the fiber. Viscous. Yeah, as you do this, right, as you're removing the gel, because there's so many ribbons, there's going to be plenty of gel in there, so multiple wipes are going to be used, right? This trailer is going to be trash by the time I'm done with this thing. And there's a train in the background. We're going to switch view here. This is just me getting every single ribbon in. And shortly we're going to discuss, shortly I'm going to tell you about the nature of these different ribbons, right? How to distinguish the two and how to separate one from the other, right? What makes them special, as it were. Yeah, and just a side note here, you always want to wipe and clean until you hear that squeaky sound. That's the only way you know this stuff is clean. Right? Whether it's bare fiber or fiber still in the jacket, still have the coating on it. The only way you're going to know it's clean is if you hear that squeak. Alright? Just food for thought. And clean your space off. Okay, so you might be wondering, like, how is it, product placement. You might be wondering, how is it that, how do you determine one fiber from the next? It all looks the same. If we look closely, they're actually labeled. Right, this one says 1N2, 1 SM, 2 SM. SM means single mode. If it was MM, that would have been multi-mode. There's a number of ways that we can go about labeling this stuff. There's a number of ways that they're, what do you call those things? Labeled, but this makes everything a lot easier. And this actually lets us know that this is still a double fiber, right? They're actually in groups of 12, right? You can see a pattern in there, and you can see that it repeats. That means that there's one and then there's two. So let's finish building the case here and get ready for the other end to come in. Viscous innards. Okay, so whoops. Yeah, so we got it coming in. Because this is an outage repair, there's not much to harvest. There's not much to make use of. So we only got about 18 inches of fiber to actually use. So we got them brought in through the bottom. I don't know if you see that. We got our hold down clamp in place. We have it brought in through the bottom, up through corrugated tube into each tray. We got 6 ribbons per tray. When we split them up, it's going to be 12 splices, 12 ribbon splice. Yeah, 12 ribbon splices of 12 count per tray. We got a guy doing graffiti over there. That isn't graffiti. but like if it was, it ain't good. So yeah, that's where we're at. So kind of blacked out there. Yeah, so we got the second fiber pulled in. It's a different kind of fiber. This one is 432 central tube, same as this one, and it's double ribboned. Well, you can't see it, but it's hiding down in there. It's about right here. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So let's go ahead and get started getting this in the trays. And yeah. Okay, so we got lucky. Yeah, we got lucky. And this particular fiber didn't have the gel on the inside, so we're going to be able to get started with this one so much more quicker, right? So like, what is this? This is an absorbent fabric. Okay, it absorbs moisture, and when it gets wet, it expands. Okay, there you go. What's it called? Comment below. Okay, so before we get started, earlier I told you that there's different ways to number the different ribbons, and here with the new 432 we can see that. We can see that 3 hash marks means that this is the number 3 ribbon. 4 hash marks means this is the number 4 ribbon, but then we see something different. We see a square. Square means 5, and as we can see, square dash 1, well, square 1, that's 6. We can see it in its most extreme on this fiber here, whereas fiber 20, no, it's fiber 28. 5 hash marks, no, 5 squares and 3 hash marks. And then just over to the side here, ribbon 27. Okay? Okay, so we got both corresponding sets of fibers going up to both corresponding sets of trays. Now we're going to use our splicer. Okay, we're going to use these 12 count chucks to splice 12 fibers at the same time. And normally we use these, well, normally I use these these bare 250 fiber, these bare 250 count fibers. That's 250 microns. So normally I use those for just single splices, but today we're going to be using 12 count ribbon splices to make this thing go a whole lot faster. All right, now if you can look at the back of my whiteboard there, you might have to go back, but it's going to show up here. Here it is. So if you look at the back, I've checked for traffic, I've checked for light on all of these ribbons, right? So rather than doing the entire count in the entire 288 fibers, which would be somewhere around, what was that, 288, more than more than 12 ribbons. I've checked each one, and I found that only on these particular ribbons there's traffic. Now you got to approach it in this way, or else you'd be out there all night. So yeah, so if you look here, I'm cleaning out my heat shrink remover. Well, my heater. My heater is going to remove the outer coating of the bare fiber while it's still in the chuck, right? You use this heat to separate it. And right here, you want to clean it as well. That's fiber optic cleaner. It's like 90 proof alcohol. And then we cleave. I'm going to be able to cleave 12 fibers all at the same time. And in this image here, we can see a nice cut here, a nice cleave. All right, you want to put that in the chuck. You don't want to clean or cut anything or even scrape anything with the housing still open on your splicer. Stuff will still fall in there, and you'll be wondering why you get crap splices. Why your burns are just bad, right? It's because you don't take care of nothing, right? You can't keep nothing, and no one likes you. But in this case, everyone loves me. So we want to clean right before we cleave, so that we don't have any debris inside the barrel of our fiber, right? And we cut and we put it in the splicer, right? And then we stand there and look disappointed because this is what we see, right? You use your splicer often. If you don't service it often, we end up seeing this. And when we try to reset the chucks, we can see that the fibers just aren't sitting in there properly, right? We got one side that looks great, but then the other side looks all jagged, right? Our yeah, our splicers have the added ability of letting us know when things look bad, right? Before we splice, else we end up with stuff like this. But then we end up with good splices like here. We can see that everything's burning nice and neat. And even the splicer will tell us, the average loss across the splice, right? And we can see how it looks, when we tray it up, it should look nice and neat, right? And then we go and try to close the housing, right? This right here is a gel seal, right? I hope to God I'm saying that right. It's a gel seal. What it does is it goes in between the cap of your enclosure as well as the housing, the framing of your enclosure, right? It's very difficult to put it in. Some people put it in. Some people install it at the start of their restoration process. Some people install it at the end, right? I wanted to do this to let everyone know that fiber optic repairs, restoration work, disaster recoveries isn't as difficult as it seems, right? Just passing along the experience, paying it forward, man. There you go. Each case is built differently, by the way. Some models are easier to operate than others. But then again, your company, whoever you work for, they're going to have their own brand that they get discounts on, man. You get 1,000 of these things and they get it like, I don't know, $50 off. And you just got to deal with it, right? You got to learn how to make the best of a bad situation. There's better enclosures, better cases, but then you have no say-so. So just deal with it. All right. We put the rest of our housing on. And we're pretty much done. What you didn't see is I confirmed that every single one of my customers were online. Right? I made sure everything was tip-top before I close this thing up, man. And there you have it. All in a nutshell. Fiber optic restoration, right? Disaster recovery. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like and share. Be sure to subscribe. Let your friends know if they're in the field. And you guys have a nice one. Peace.